106 years ago, a massive American ship, larger than a football field and carrying over 300 souls, vanished without a trace. No SOS, no wreckage, no bodies. It was as if a ghost ship had simply sailed off the edge of the world. This is the story of the USS Cyclops, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the history of the U.S. Navy. The year is 1918. World War I is raging across Europe, and the United States has joined the fight. To support the war effort, a fleet of colossal ships, known as colliers, are tasked with transporting vital supplies across the treacherous Atlantic. Among them is the USS Cyclops, a true giant of her time. Launched in 1910, she was over 540 feet long, a modern marvel of engineering designed to carry thousands of tons of coal to fuel the warships on the front lines. Our story begins in January 1918, when the Cyclops departs from Norfolk, Virginia, for what should have been a routine supply run to Brazil. On board are 306 crew members and passengers. The ship's commander is Lieutenant Commander George W. Worley, a man with a somewhat controversial reputation. Some described him as a skilled but eccentric captain, while others whispered about his erratic behavior and harsh command style. In fact, he was known to walk the decks in his long underwear and a derby hat, an image that hardly inspired confidence. The journey to Rio de Janeiro was uneventful. The Cyclops delivered its cargo and prepared for the return trip. But this time, her hold wasn't filled with coal. Instead, she was loaded with 11,000 tons of dense, heavy manganese ore, a crucial element for steel production and munitions. This cargo was much heavier and denser than the coal she was designed to carry. On February 16th, the Cyclops set sail from Rio, bound for Baltimore. The journey north was immediately plagued with problems. One of the ship's two engines cracked a cylinder, forcing her to limp along on a single engine. This reduced her speed and made her more vulnerable to the unpredictable Atlantic weather. Instead of heading directly for Baltimore, Commander Worley decided to make an unscheduled stop in Barbados. Arriving on March 3rd, this deviation from the planned route was the first of many puzzling decisions. Why did he stop? The official log states it was to take on more supplies, but the ship had just been fully provisioned in Rio. Some crew members later reported that Worley was concerned the ship was overloaded and wanted to reassess the situation. During the stop in Barbados, tensions aboard the ship were high. Some crew members were openly critical of Worley's leadership. There were even reports of a near mutiny. Despite the engine trouble and the strange atmosphere, the Cyclops departed Barbados on March 4th. Her last confirmed sighting was by another vessel the following day. After that, she sailed into the horizon and into legend. The Cyclops was scheduled to arrive in Baltimore on March 13th, when the day came and went with no sign of the ship. Concern began to mount. Days turned into weeks. The Navy launched one of the largest search operations in its history. Ships and planes scoured the vast expanse of the Atlantic along her projected route, but they found nothing, not a single piece of debris. No lifeboats, no whale slicks, nothing. It was as if the 19,000-ton ship had been plucked from the surface of the ocean. On June 1st, 1918, the U.S. Navy officially declared the USS Cyclops and all 306 people aboard as lost at sea. The news sent shockwaves through the country. How could such a massive non-vessel disappear without a single distress call? In the absence of evidence, theories began to multiply. The most prominent theory at the time was enemy action. Remember? This was during World War I. German U-boats were actively hunting Allied shipping in the Atlantic. Could a German submarine have torpedoed the Cyclops? It was a plausible explanation. However, after the war, German naval records were meticulously examined. They contained no mention of an attack on a ship matching the Cyclops' description in that area at that time. The Germans, typically proud of their naval victories, had no reason to hide such a significant sinking. So, if not an enemy sub, what happened? Another theory points to the ship's structural integrity and its heavy cargo. The Cyclops was carrying manganese ore, a cargo known to be treacherous. If it wasn't loaded properly, It could shift suddenly in rough seas, causing the ship to list uncontrollably and capsize in minutes. This would happen so quickly that there would be no time to launch lifeboats or send an SOS. This catastrophic capsize theory is favored by many naval historians. The fact that one of her engines was out of commission would have made her even more difficult to handle in a storm. And then there's the human element. Commander Worley's strange behavior has led some to speculate that he may have orchestrated the ship's disappearance. Was he a German sympathizer who handed the ship over to the enemy? His birth name was Georg Wichmann, and he was born in Germany before immigrating to the U.S. While this fueled suspicion, extensive investigations found no evidence of treason. Could he have simply been incompetent, making a series of fatal navigational errors that led the ship into a powerful, unforecasted storm? Of course, no story of a mysterious disappearance at sea would be complete without a mention of the Bermuda Triangle. The Cyclops' route took her directly through this infamous stretch of ocean, known for its strange magnetic anomalies and unexplained disappearances. While many dismiss the Bermuda Triangle as pure superstition, the sheer completeness of the Cyclops' vanishing act has made it a centerpiece of the legend. Proponents suggest that some unknown natural phenomenon or even supernatural force could be responsible. Let's review the facts. We have a ship with a broken engine, carrying an unusually heavy and potentially unstable cargo. We have a captain whose competence was questioned by his own crew. And we have a course that took it through notoriously unpredictable waters. It's a perfect storm of circumstances. Perhaps the most likely scenario is a combination of these factors. A powerful rogue wave could have struck the already struggling ship. The dense manganese ore could have shifted violently, throwing the ship off balance. With only one engine to fight the seas, she would have been helpless. The capsize would have been swift and total, pulling the entire vessel and everyone on it to the ocean floor in a matter of moments, leaving no time for a distress signal and scattering no debris field. The mystery of the USS Cyclops is deepened by the fact that two of her sister ships, the USS Proteus and the USS Nereus, also vanished without a trace along similar routes during World War II, also carrying heavy metallic ore. Was there a fundamental design flaw in these ships that made them vulnerable under specific conditions? It's a chilling thought that adds another layer to this enduring maritime puzzle. To this day, the final resting place of the USS Cyclops remains unknown. It lies somewhere in the dark, silent depths of the Atlantic, a steel tomb holding the secrets of its final moments. It stands as the single largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. Navy history. For the families of the 306 souls lost, there was never closure, only a century of questions. The story of the USS Cyclops is a humbling reminder that even in an age of incredible technology, the sea remains a powerful and mysterious force. It's a ghost story, a war story, and a detective story all rolled into one. A puzzle with a piece that is forever missing. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of history's greatest maritime mysteries. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. See you next time.